What's up, Philadelphia sports fans? I am Anthony Pinto. Welcome to the War Room. We are War Room Philly. Coming to you on this Thursday pre-football. 1-0 Eagles. Oh, by the way, the only 1-0 NFC East team. We out here. Eagles are 1-0. It's a solo show. So what up, yo? But it's going to be a fun one tonight. Again, solo show, just like the podcast. The podcast? You don't do a podcast? Why, yes, we do. As of Tuesday, episode 1 of the War Room Philly podcast has dropped. I'm going to try my best not to repeat myself. And the difference tonight is we'll have chat. The difference tonight is we're going to be focused more on the 49ers tonight. And the difference tonight is, it's live. Although, if you can, check out the podcast, search War Room Philly. We're on Anchor, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Play, we're on a few things now. So if you listen to podcasts, search War Room Philly, and you'll see the first episode. I'm really proud of that show. I'm excited to get the ball moving on this. It's been something I've been wanting to do for a while now, and tired of talking about it, so we just did the damn thing. And yeah, I'll be taking that project solo as of now, but I'll be getting guests in, and maybe my guests will be co-hosts. I guarantee you that the first at least 3 guests will all be War Room Philly former co-hosts in one way or another. And then we're going to start getting some guests on that potentially and moving forward. So I'm excited for what the podcast holds. That will have, again, a different feel. The focus on the podcast is going to be the latest Eagles games. So in other words, this was the first episode of the podcast, but we still kept it pretty simple, and we did. I'm trying to fix my chair here. It's right underneath my. And we just, Jesus Christ. All right. So first episode, we kept it pretty much standard. Things might change up, and there might be bits here and there. But as far as the podcast goes, we were, I should say, talking specifically about the Eagles game on Sunday. Sunday's Eagles game, Sunday's big win over the Atlanta Falcons. And again, tonight we're not going to talk too much about it. However, if you have a War Room bomb player that you'd like to get out, we mentioned all the ones that were on Facebook.com/WarRoomPhilly. Get on over and check that out. And then, so give us your bomb player if you didn't, or if we didn't read yours. We gave ours, and then give us your predictions for bomb player for maybe you're thinking Thursday, and then I'll give mine Sunday when we do our Facebook Live. So make sure you, again, Facebook.com/WarRoomPhilly. We'll be doing some pregame live stuff. Keith will be out there in the streets, and the whole nine. It's gonna be fun. Again, there's going to be multiple ways and multiple times to enjoy content from us this Eagles season. You're gonna get us starting on Sundays. Facebook is the place to be. Then on Monday, Tuesday latest is when you'll get the podcast. Search War Room Philly. Spotify is my go-to. What's yours? Let me know. And if there's not one that we're not on yet, it's slowly getting added to all the other ones as well. But as this thing keeps getting moving forward, it's gonna keep getting added to more and more platforms. I'm begging for the day that people say, "Oh, I need you on this platform," but I listen to you here. And yeah, if and you know, as you're listening, if there's something that's bothering you, something you know, that you want me to tweak, just tell me and we'll get it down. We're gonna have a again. I'm super excited for this podcast, just as I am, you know, to continue doing the live shows. It's not like this is going anywhere. It's just means of more and more. So, moving past Sunday into looking forward to next Sunday, we got the 49ers coming up. And, you know, with that, becomes much more of a task. Much more of a task than the Atlanta Falcons were. The Atlanta Falcons going into it, we kind of felt pretty good. We were uncertain, but I don't know if you guys saw me going in the Facebook Live show. I thought that Matt Ryan is, and he holds the title. He's the most washed up quarterback in the all of NFL. He proved that. And I think that you're going to have, you know, maybe the second most washed up quarterback in the NFL, although Jimmy Garoppolo was never really good. The term washed up insinuates that you were once good. Jimmy Garoppolo is Tom Brady's backup. Now, the threat of Trey Lance does something, but he played he threw one pass against Detroit Lions. So, how much of Trey Lance are you going to see? And again, it's week 2. Are you necessarily threatened by him? And when the quarterback position's weak, that means the game is winnable. And I'm just thinking, you know, this 49ers team was good, but are they on the decline? Is this 49ers team beatable? Home opener? Emotions are going to be electric? First time with a full stadium since, 2019? The way I see it is the Eagles have a very good chance of winning this game. They have a very decent chance of winning against the 49ers on Saturday. And this is going to be Nick Sirianni. This is going to be Jalen Hurts. This is going to be Devontae Smith. This is going to be a lot of players' biggest task thus far. Now, Jalen Hurts had his fair share of woes, you know, under Doug Peterson last year. But it's almost like that was Jalen Hurts' preseason, and this is his rookie season. West Coast to East Coast Blues, Eagles win. It's at 1:00, correct? So maybe that plays in. I don't know that I buy into that. Does that still, in 2021, does that still matter? I guess so. Yeah, why not? Why not? Eagles win. Why not? Right? See, this is where I wish Keith were here, because then I could be like more myself and be a little negative. But truth be told, look, the season's going to get, it's going to pick up. It's going to get difficult, and it could do it right here week 2. The 49ers are by no means going to be an easy team to play. But, you know, if your defensive line can continue to put pressure like they did on Matt Ryan, if guys like Hargrave are going to be busting through, if guys like Hassan Ridgeway are going to be busting through, you know, taking those one-on-one coverages and eating up off of what Fletcher Cox is creating for them, yeah, you know, Garoppolo is going to have people in his face quick because he's not the fleetest of foot. Now, Trey Lance is a different story, but Trey Lance will be in his second NFL game. Played one snap, one meaningful snap in the first game, or at least threw one pass. Maybe Maybe I missed it. Let me see. Let me check the box score. I don't. I know he did have 3 carries. So it looks like Trey Lance played 4 snaps. What up, Joe Hunter, by the way? Philly has receivers that actually can catch the ball. Well, it's week 1. But as you can see, I'm sporting the 6, as I did on Facebook last Sunday. I never doubted Smitty's hands. Never doubted it. Now, we'll still see. I'm not going to let one week all of a sudden, oh, Jalen Reagor, I'm sure he's sure-handed now, and oh, Quez Watkins is a viable wide receiver and sure-handed. I'm not going to go that far yet, but I do think that, just to your point, having one sure-handed guy that not only is he short-handed, not only is he fast, he can run routes. I mean, Devontae Smith does it all. Not to my surprise, by the way, if you heard me gushing about him all last year. Not to my surprise. But I'm so glad that all of Philly has caught on now. Not that there were many doubters, but my co-host Keith Malashevsky, my longtime buddy, he had some doubts. Called him a little too thin. Called him. So far, so good, though. So far, so good. Devontae Smith, not that we have to go back, but why not? What was it? 6 catches for 71 yards? Yeah. Yeah, and a touchdown? Yeah. Jalen Reagor, 6 catches, 49 yards. Dallas Goedert with 4. Miles Sanders with 4. I thought this, and this is something that I didn't talk about on the podcast, but I thought that's something that Jalen Hurts did very well. I did call him. This is kind of a conundrum. I'm pretty sure I said this on the podcast. I called Jalen Hurts a playmaking game manager, which is a complete contradiction. But let me explain. His quarterback style is he's a game manager. You can see almost a Nick Foles style offense that is being ran under Nick Sirianni through Jalen Hurts, which is Jalen Hurts is going in. And by the way, something else that I didn't mention, but I noticed was he's going 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, the pressure's here. Now he's not going 1 and I gotta run. Jalen Hurts is going through his progressions. How do I know? Look at that stat sheet. Look at that stat sheet. Jalen Hurts is going through his progressions. That is going to be, that's something that, he has to keep up. He's going to have to continue. And again, defenses are going to plan now that there's film. He said thanks for the shout out on the podcast, which warms my heart, Joe, because that means you listened. But yeah, what up, Joe? We got both of the Joes in chat. All things are copacetic in the world. Jalen Hurts was not doing the 1 and run. He was doing 1, 2, 3. And in fact, I mean, how many runs did he? I don't remember him running too much in this game. 7 times. And I think the time he leaned on it most in the 2-minute drill, when he really made the most out of it too. So the only thing we didn't see, and again, I'm totally fine with it. If you don't have to show it, don't show it. We didn't see much of the Jalen Hurts deep ball yet, and that's my one and 1A is can he stay healthy in this league, which he doesn't have a record to prove otherwise. But I was saying that based off of if he planned on running 25 times a game, 7 much more manageable. But outside of injury, which is all your question mark for every football player, it was, can he throw the NFL deep ball? I have little to no doubt that Jalen Hurts can do just about anything an NFL quarterback can do. But it's, can he throw that 30 to 40? You saw, it wasn't even too long of a pass, but he underthrew it to Ertz. And Ertz had to, he made the good adjustment and he caught it. That's my biggest problem. And I tend to think that that's something that can be learned. It's something it's like when a basketball player comes in and doesn't have, a three-pointer. It's like, all right, he can work on that. I know saying things like that around these days in Philadelphia is a bit of a touchy subject. Shout out to Ben Simmons. But do you think Rodgers hit a wall? Looks like he aged 100 years overnight? Or it looks like one Anthony Pinto decided, Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers is on the board. Russell Wilson is like my favorite quarterback in the NFL right now, right? But I tend to get Russell Wilson all the time, right? Oh, now is the year that I get Aaron Rodgers, right? Yeah, so it would probably make sense that Aaron Rodgers becomes washed up this year. I hate to bring up fantasy sports, but if I can throw myself under the bus at least. Watch Russell Wilson will be the MVP this year. I literally said Russell Wilson out loud and then picked Aaron Rodgers. I was like, you know what? I changed my mind. By the way, chat, if you weren't here for last week, these are the beers I'm sporting. And I'm not going to lie. I never go back to the grocery store or wherever I go to get my beer with intent to get the same beer. But look, first off, if the Eagles are going to keep winning, I'm just going to keep getting the Goose Island. But I don't even have to put anything. It's right there. Boom. The can is already got my Eagles green on it. It's the perfect beverage to drink with War Room Philly. I'm just saying, Goose Island, if you want me to sponsor, I'll do it. The overreacting part, Joe, are you talking about Aaron Rodgers? Because if you are, I was overreacting, but just out of comedy. Yeah. I was overreacting purely out of theater, if you will. Just to throw my fantasy sports team under the bus. I tend to think he's the best quarterback. He's the most talented quarterback of all time. I tend to think he'll bounce back. I think, yeah, like you said, it's one game. Joe, I'm not shook yet. There's still no backup quarterback on my roster because I support Aaron Rodgers. Unlike his own team, I'm like, I got Aaron Rodgers. I don't need a backup quarterback. That being said, it would be my luck that Aaron Rodgers does decide to become washed up because I drafted him in fantasy football. Only one team, by the way, chat. So if you hear me talk about fantasy football, it's my only team. And I think we as a society need to go back to this. Because it's really hard for me to have conversations with people about fantasy football when they're like, oh, I got Aaron Rodgers and then I got Tom Brady. And then I'm like, all right, well, pick one league and talk to me about that all year. Because I don't want to keep up with your 7 teams. I didn't even want to keep up with my 7 teams when I did that many leagues. That's why I quit fantasy last year. Took a COVID year. I came back refreshed. And I drafted Aaron Rodgers. Dalton definitely washed up. Dalton was washed up 7 years ago. But yeah, talking washed up quarterbacks, that was that's something we can continue to talk about. Because that was my theme for last week. Is Matt Ryan the most washed up quarterback in the NFL? And I think it's not even close. Like, if you anyone that's second, like, I'm just, as far as like people thought there was going to be, or he was good, showed flashes. In my opinion, I don't know that Matt Ryan was ever that great, but it does that, and then yeah, it's just Matt Ryan has what, one couple handful of years, had a lot of good wide receivers, and now there's just nothing left in the tank for Matty Ice. Matty put on ice. So moving forward against what will be, I believe, a tough task against the San Francisco 49ers. This is by no means I think they're really going to win type game. I feel better moving into this week than I did 2 weeks ago. For a few reasons too. On the flip side of things, it's just seeing that Detroit Lions could put up 33 points against what's supposed to be a good 49ers defense. That gives me a little hope. Because regardless of my uncertainties about the Eagles, I'm still very certain they're top to bottom a better team than the Detroit Lions. Top to bottom a better team than the Detroit Lions. So if the Detroit Lions, now again, the score looks more competitive than it was. But we as Sixers fans know you can't let teams hang around. Who knows? Maybe if it was the Eagles in that situation and the 49ers let the Eagles hang around, they complete the comeback. Who knows? The one thing I do know about the San Francisco 49ers is their quarterback sucks. And he's not washed up, chat, because washed up would mean he had talent at one point. Jimmy Garoppolo sucks. And I said it when the 49ers made the trade. I was like, well, they just became irrelevant. Now they made a Super Bowl. I guess I could eat some of those words, but they didn't win. And why didn't they win? They didn't win because their quarterback sucks. He bad. Raiders game was unbelievable Monday night. Yeah, Joe Hunter, I was recording the podcast during that game, and I'm not going to lie, probably wouldn't have even had it on, but I was recording the podcast. So I was like, I'll put some sports on in the background while I'm doing my sports podcast, right? And it took me, and Joe, I think I was talking about it during the podcast. I am such a creature of habit, chat, that when I didn't have to, I probably looked directly into this camera more on my podcast than I do here on Twitch. Because when I do on Twitch is I look kind of right here. I catch myself a lot because I'm reading chat. So I'm like looking to the left of camera. I need to put the camera like right under chat, and then it'll look like I'm staring deep into your soul every night. But yeah, that's a good point, Joe. It's a good point. Joe Heston says, why is everyone forgetting? And then he goes, in all caps, we beat them in Santa Clara last year. We're the worst team. He's right. I forgot. Hashtag I forgot. Hashtag never forget. Why did we beat them last year? Well, Jimmy G wasn't in. But it was because they have a bad quarterback. Any team in the NFL that has a bad quarterback is beatable on any Sunday. No matter what, no matter how good the team around that bad quarterback is, and no matter what the other team is offering. Because a bad quarterback spells inconsistency. And when you're inconsistent, you never know what you're going to get. 17 for 25, 314, a touchdown, and no interceptions. That looks good. Let's see what happens when Fletcher Cox gets all up in your face. Brandon Graham comes around for your ass. Because the Detroit Lions do not have a defensive line like the Philadelphia Eagles does. They just don't. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be running for his friggin' life. He's going to look a lot like Matt Ryan. I mean, that's the one thing that this team is just built rock solid at the defensive line. Depth, top to bottom. That's almost something that has been built into this Eagles culture. Shout out to Andy Reid. Now, the offensive line is hit or miss. Andy Reid built that into the culture too. It just hasn't necessarily stuck. But even through some bad years, our defensive lines have been tight and just mean. So Raheem Mostert goes down. Let me pull up their injury report, actually. I don't see him on the injury report, but I could have sworn he was like out. Let me see something. So yeah, your running game is going to probably be split between Eli Mitchell, and they had a rookie as well, but he was inactive week 1. I'd imagine you'll see more of him week 2. Hold on. I forget his name, but I know they have a rookie. Trey Sermon. He was inactive last week. You'll probably see a split backfield this week between Eli Mitchell. It'll probably be between Eli Mitchell and Trey Sermon this week. Obviously, two kind of relatively big unknowns. Mitchell stepped up big this week in their win. His numbers were pretty impressive. I got them right here. 19 for 104. You probably saw him get picked up in a lot of fantasy leagues. I went the route of Ingram, I think. Houston running back. I went that route instead because I believed more in that. But yeah, focusing on not my fantasy team and the team that I fantasize about, the Philadelphia Eagles. As far as who Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be throwing to and who the secondary could be potentially matching up against, that's where it gets dicey. Deebo Samuel, 9 for 189 yards. That's a gigantic game. I don't necessarily expect him to have that against maybe Slay and Nelson. But you have to also keep in mind George Kittle, potentially the best tight end in the game, if not top 3. Who came in at 4 yards, 78 catches last week. And then after that, it's going to be, no one else so far has popped off as far as the stat sheet goes. So if I'm the Eagles, I'm going to be trying to lock down those two and then say, beat me with everyone else. That's easier said than done. You could kind of lock down one guy and say, beat me with everyone else. I think I think Kittle is probably going to have himself a bit of a game, especially if he gets lined up against any linebackers this game. And you saw kind of Gannon's defense was just a little bit of everything based on what the offense was going. So I was really digging that. But I think that a team like San Francisco can kind of line up with run-based packages and then get Kittle lined up against the linebacker. And then again, that's where he becomes a safety nightmare if they're going to be playing the run into the pass through that. So there's certainly ways to scheme against this team, even just watching one game of film, even just having that one little nugget. Teams are going to be able to just base. Look, I'm a dude sitting in a computer chair, mind you, a nice one. But I'm scheming up ways to beat my team, right? So obviously the Eagles are planning around that, and I'm sure if I can think of ways to beat them, they're thinking of ways that other teams could be thinking of ways to be thinking of ways to think of ways. So think about that. No, but I need a drink. Give me a second. But that being said, it's this team, this 49ers team, while supposedly good, they're beatable. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pretty good going into this game right now. I think that you get a huge lift from the home fans. And if the Eagles go 2-0, that's when the show titles expectations question really starts to come into play. Because if they go 2-0, who's to say they can't go 3-0 against Dallas? Dallas missing a key cog. He won't be back by week 3. Who knows? You go 3-0, and then you're making the playoffs. They're saying, cool it. Cool it. Oh man, hold on a second. I just saw something about Megadeth playing in Camden, and that's why you don't open up Twitter. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was listening. Murph says cool. Yo, Murph, did you say that after I said that, or was that was that happenstance? Heavy metal returns, yo. Yeah, after, okay. Because I said I saw a picture of Dave Mustaine on my timeline in Twitter, and I immediately got pulled in, and I'm like, hold up. When can I go see Megadeth? I'm down. Who's going to see Megadeth with me? I shit you not, chat. I was listening to Megadeth at work today. Every now and then you just gotta throw some good old fashioned metal on and just bang out some skids. Not talking about my underwear either when I say some skids. But yeah, this link is for after the show. When are they coming to Camden? Can't I just get a goddamn date? Yeah, I'll find it later. We're wasting valuable time. But yeah, Megadeth, Camden, let's go. Couldn't think of anything worse. No, for real, I'm excited. By the way, what up, Murph? I see you, as we've already addressed one another. This week again. Beatable team, mainly due to the quarterback, in my opinion. The more that team slowly transitions into Trey Lance, the potentially I don't want to say dangerous they get, but more on the right path they get, because it's not like you have Super Bowl expectations with a rookie year one, with a rookie. Um, but in my opinion, you don't have Super Bowl expectations with Jimmy Garoppolo either. You're lying to yourself. So I would at least ditch one and then start to the point where I'm like, okay, well, now maybe next year we can have Super Bowl expectations as a franchise. But that's not necessarily our problem here as Eagles fans, because it looks like, again, it's one game. He's got improvements still to show us, and he's got things still to prove. But man, Jalen Hurts looks like he's ready to be the franchise quarterback. The dude's got all of the intangibles. We've said it before. It just comes down to, can he stay healthy? It comes down to, can he make that NFL deep ball? And he's got the guy to throw it to in Devontae Smith. And again, Smith is looking fantastic early on. But here we are. Potentially, looking at it, we were going, man, this team could go 0-7. I was going, man, this team could go 0-7 before they potentially get a win. Now I'm going, they could go 2-0, and then who knows? Excuse me. But yeah, chat, that's kind of how I look at it. We can start to wrap. I gotta be honest. Tonight was all Eagles. I don't really want to waste time talking about the Phillies because they're trash. The Flyers, we've had a lot of Flyers talk, and we're still excited for the Flyers season. But nothing new on the Flyers front. Joe and I, we were talking about how cool it would be to see them out in Seattle. And the Sixers, it's just like, wake me up when this Ben Simmons crap is over. So with that, chat, start giving me any of your final thoughts in chat. And if you got anything on the other teams, bring it up. I'm not rushing out the door. But with it being solo tonight, and me not wanting to just repeat my podcast from the other night, we might be ending a little early, a little bit before Thursday night football. Or we can start nonsensing it up. You tell me. Bomb player this week, Darius Slay. That's a good one. You're saying no Deebo Samuel this week, no George Kittle. That would be Darius Slay. He picks off maybe runs one to the house. That would get him bomb player status. Like Keith, for instance. Keith said last week Jordan Mailata, right? And guess what? You saw that screen that play on Jalen Reagor's screen pass where he killed a guy. So Keith hit on that one. The only one I would say that didn't hit, actually, I don't know that me or Kev hit, because Kev predicted Fletcher Cox, who at least score sheet wise didn't really show up. I predicted Zach Ertz, who also didn't really show up. Miles Sanders, that's from Murph in chat. Miles Sanders, I could see having a big game, yeah. Niners defense is pretty tough. I think that the Niners, you're going to have to kind of beat them through the air. 2 TDs. There we go. Okay. But yeah, I could say it. That sounds good for my fantasy team. Again, no one cares. But yeah, I would love a Miles Sanders big game. I would love that every week. Who wouldn't as Eagles fans? But yeah, so I guess I'll think of a prediction if you guys are giving yours. I can give mine a little early. You know what? Against the 49ers, who are they going to be? I'm trying to think of where the 49ers' weakness lies as far as defense goes, and it's tough. They really don't have a weakness, but man, they're built up front. Um, you know what? I'll flip it. I'll go on the other side of. Do I want to go to the other side of the ball? Yeah, I'm thinking it might have to be a defense this week. Might have to be a defensive player. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say Brandon Graham. Although I should say, I should have saved. He says strip sack. I should save Brandon Graham for when Murph's coming over in a couple weeks. But I'm gonna go Brandon Graham because again, I'm thinking about how I was talking about this team and how I think that they match up well against the Niners, and I started gushing about this defensive line, right? So then I'm looking through the names, and Sherpy. I'm going. Do I go Hargrave or Brandon Graham? I'm gonna go Brandon Graham. So I'll take Brandon Graham here in week 2. Maybe he gets the strip sack. I just see Jimmy Garoppolo making a bonehead move, so I'm feeling someone on the defense. I think Joe with Darius Slay. Joe Heston had a good pick. Again, Miles Sanders is a great one. As far you can never go wrong picking Miles Sanders. I'm feeling someone on the defense this week, so I go Brandon Graham, especially because I see my good friend Philly Murph in chat, and I'm like, we just booked some plans. You coming down? We're gonna watch a football game together. Oh yeah, we getting the strip sack. We getting it. So yeah, but for real, I do. I think that with this team comes, maybe it's a Josh Sweat, and maybe it's a Fletcher Cox this week. Maybe it's a Hassan Ridgeway. This defense, specifically the line, I think if the Eagles are to win this game, it's going to be because this defensive line terrorizes both of the 49ers quarterbacks. If they want to play a 2 quarterback system game like we're in D2 college, go ahead, play that game. So that's the way I say it. If you haven't picked up on it, I do feel better about this game. We don't do wins and losses here, especially not on the Twitch stream. Maybe catch that energy pregame on Sunday, and tune back in too, because I know Keith is going to be at the game, so you could be seeing a pregame show from Keith. I'll hop in, if need be too. So there's going to be some good content from this page come Sunday, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping we can get Keith to give us like a video of just that roar of everyone being back in the building. It's gonna be something to see. I'll be there on Sunday as well. Joe, duh. Like at this point, I almost was going to say, I'm sure Joe will be there. Like, at this point, I just assume that if it's like a big Philly game, you're just going to go. Because that's what you do. And I'm not saying that is a bad thing. I'm saying that is a great thing. But yeah. Enjoy it. Have fun. Be extra loud for us. The people that aren't there. But man, yeah, this is it's going to be a fun one. I think it'll be, I'm hoping that the Eagles make it, a little extra special, put a little cherry on top there. Yeah, chat, it's been a fun one. Any final thoughts out there, guys? Gonna bring in some final thoughts. I see some chat as far as this game on Sunday. That's getting me excited. Just going back to bomb players too, guys to look for on the offensive side of the ball, since I gave a lot for the defense, maybe a Devontae Smith. I think that there's going to have to be a wide receiver that has a bit of a big game this week, maybe two, because that, in my opinion, you're probably not. You're probably. I think you're definitely going to at least have to show a bit of a deep plays here and there against San Fran, because that front six, that front seven, they're fierce. As far as the 49ers go, that's their strong suit. So as far as passing into that area and those lanes and maybe even the read option, might not be the game for that with a guy like Bosa. But man, I'm excited for it, and I do think it's a very winnable game. Anytime a guy named Garoppolo is playing quarterback, I think that's a beatable team. So, chat, it's been a fun one. I'm really excited for Sunday. Can't wait to see you guys on Facebook.com/WarRoomPhilly. Again, last but not least, if you haven't already turned on these notifications, by the way, it's September. Nothing goes to Twitch. It all goes to us. So feel free to get those subscriptions in before we leave. But not only that, please, anywhere. Yeah, I will let you know about that. Anywhere that you can get your Audible, your podcast goodness. I almost did your Audible goodness. Shout out to my friend Greg Hall and the We Podcast and We Know Things Squad. I know for a fact right now it's on Google Play. I know for a fact that's on Spotify, and I know for a fact it's on at least 2 other things. But we're slowly and surely getting the credentials, if you will, to be put onto anywhere, anywhere. Listen to the podcast. It's a great listen. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. And there's going to be more to come as far as the podcast goes too. We're going to have a little beefed up production value, a little more anything. I don't want to say that this was rushed, but it was I'm sitting and watching Monday Night Football, and I just want to hit record. So I did it. And then now it's a commitment. And now it's a challenge, and I'm excited for it. So now I have creative friends of mine working on intros and outro songs, which is freaking awesome. And shout out to Native Maze. And I have, we're working on as far as again, we're gonna have hosts. And I promise you, my 2 co-hosts are going to be part of not only the podcast but this show. Kevin Christian had a last minute thing tonight. No big deal. Keith will be freeing up, hopefully sooner rather than later. And Joe, I see that, and it makes my heart flutter. The more content the guys from you, the better. Trust me. Not only do I have this cooking, I have another podcast in the work that I'm also cooking on. It's going to not be sports related, though. So I don't know how in or out that makes you, Joe. But there's another one, too. So potentially 4 out of my 7 days of the week are going to be spent with me hitting the record button. And that's what I'm shooting for. I just, maximum productivity, maximum content. Maybe one of them sticks. I want a Flyers podcast. It's this. Make no mistake, Joe. While right now, especially at the heart of football season, this seems like an Eagles only podcast. I promise. Like, if we come on and there's a big story that week, it's going to get talked about. Right now, I don't even acknowledge the fact that there's, right now, this is a 2-sport team for me, or 2-sport town for me, because I'm kind of really only enthused about talking about the Eagles or the Flyers right now. I couldn't care less about what the Phillies race is. They're a fraud team. I've said it from day one. Joe, you've said it from day one with me. I'm kind of on hiatus with the Phillies because I want to be able to enjoy playoff baseball, and I know the Phillies aren't going to be a part of it. And if I watch them just slowly deteriorate away from the playoffs, then I'm not going to be able to watch good baseball when it's here. So I'm just on a break from the Phillies right now. So they're down 7-0. So there's that. Again, I didn't even need to know that, Murph. But thanks. Yeah, like, getting back to it, like, when hockey season starts, Joe, yeah, we're gonna have the Flyers on there, and then not only that, like, I'm gonna try to, like, my goal is to get guests and to, go out there and to get other people that are, creating Flyers content and to get them on. So that's the goal. We will 100% be talking Flyers on that podcast. It's going to be very much, and Joe, it's going to have the same feel as this. I eventually want to script it a little bit more as far as the podcast. And when I say scripted, I mean come up with a couple bits, maybe, if you will. But as far, it's gonna be just like this, just all audio. Might add a little some funky sound bits here and there. But yeah, that's the next thing to come. Is you had just pure raw audio, me talking into a mic for episode 1. Episode 2, you'll probably have more of that, but with a guest. And episode 3, who knows? The podcast would be great when I'm at work. That's the goal, and I'm trying to keep it around half hour, to an hour as well. But my goal for the podcast, weirdly, is to try to, like, for this show, I'll tend to, like what I'm doing right now. We'll draw it out. I like to kick back and hang out. But for the podcast, I kind of just want to no filler and just get it into you guys. Hyped to hear about the podcast. I got to check it out. Very new to the world of podcasts. Well, Murph, I got one more other one to recommend for you. It's these two guys. You may or may not have heard of them, Murph. Our good friends Greg Hall and Sam Matoro. You got to listen to them, to the We Podcast and We Know Things Squad. All you got to do is have Spotify. And if you have Spotify, you can listen to podcasts like ad free. They might throw one on in the beginning, but like every time I listen to Greg and Sam on the We Podcast and We Know Things show, no ads in the middle of it, and there's no ads for our podcast either. Like as far as Spotify goes, if they're promoting something or something of that nature, that's different. Excuse me, every week I get a frog in my throat. That's what she said. That's what she said. Oh, jam it in there. I got you. Excuse me. Yeah, the one thing with the chat delay makes me have to rethink the joke every now and then. But yeah, again, the podcast, I just wanted to, like, and if the length should be shorter, if the length should be longer, giggity, that's what she said. These are things I want to know. If you're noticing, like, for instance, next week when we have guests on, if one mic isn't as loud as the other, like, I need to know these things. Negative feedback, believe it or not, is better than positive feedback. Like, no, like when Joe was like, "Oh, it's great," and that warms my heart. But what I really want to do is make it better. The Tyrese Maxey mentality, 1% better every day. I've been hearing a lot of athletes. Jalen Hurts has been saying that. Mailata has been saying that. That's what we got to do. We all as it's a 1% better. I call it the Tyrese Maxey mentality because for me, he's the first one to say it as of late, and it all of a sudden seemed to be picking up. But yeah, 1% better. That's what we try to do here at War Room Philly. We're just trying to get 1% better every show. Like, for instance, if you notice today, I started with my mic in the right position. 1% better. 1% better every day. But yeah, chat. It's been a fun one. Again, I'm loving to see. I love the everything that you guys have been saying about the pod. I'm like, it's weird. It's weird when you guys get me at almost a loss for words. You know what I mean? It's weird when I start to show, like, I'm like, man, what do I say to these guys? You guys are wonderful, though. I love it. Best community in all of Philadelphia sports. I said it once. I'll say it again. I'll take it to the grave. I want it on my headstone. Actually, I don't want a headstone. I want to be burned. I digress, as I do best. No, that's what I want. That's what I want on my urn. Chat, y'all have been beautiful. This show has been great. I gave you a little bit. You got about 20 minutes before football starts. Go grab your last minute snack. Do whatever you got to do. Make a quick beer run. Grab your smokes. Whatever you got to do. We're out of ice in the freezer. I got to run out. You know, whatever you do, you do. That being said, it's been a wonderful show. I can't wait to do it again next week. This is anytime I hit record, it's the best part of my week. And we're just doing it more and more now, and that makes me so excited. I love football season for, if one thing, it's content season. Because football starts, and then we got Flyers hockey, and unfortunately Sixers basketball are right around the corner. So we'll be firing on all cylinders, and I'm really excited for it. So one last time, y'all have been beautiful. Facebook.com/WarRoomPhilly, Instagram, Twitter, everything. War Room Philly. And now wherever you get your podcasts. So check them out. Let us know. Follow us, comment. You guys know. We answer everything. This is an interactive platform. We don't do things for clickbait. We do things for conversation. Oh damn! I like that. Can that be our new slogan? We don't do things for clickbait. We do it for conversation. I'm writing that down. I just love when I get these Morpheus prophesizing moments. Or I'm like, I gotta write it down, chat. You can watch me write it down. No, but that's how we do it. We're not here to get clicks. We're here to make conversation, and we do it. We answer everything. So chat, until Sunday, stay tuned. Make sure you follow us at Facebook.com/WarRoomPhilly. Turn notifications on everywhere. And stay up to date. With that, I'm Anthony Pinto, and we are out.